going on? Oh, hi
Aloha.
there. Let's try that again.
Hi.
Hello, everybody. Welcome
Aloha.
to a bumpy start edition of Kiwanis Connects. I'm Aaron Phillips. That's Val there. How are you, my friend?
Aloha. This is one of the favorite parts of my week, got to tell you. So,
Excellent. Well, it is
really.
mine as well. Good to see you. I know you're back at the home ranch after dealing with some electrical issues. Every time I open up my Facebook, there's like Mother Nature's coming down on you out there in Cali. Yesterday was no power, and it's like, God, I hope she has Wi-Fi at least for tomorrow.
The people with Arroyo Seco Wireless made sure that I at least had Wi-Fi,
Hey,
and we would be hooked up. They didn't want me on the side of the road while it's cold and rainy.
no,
So,
hey, you're cold and rainy, but for everybody out in that Cleveland, Ohio area last night for the football game, my goodness gracious, they got out snow. I turned on ESPN and I thought I was watching a clip from an old game from years ago, but nay, it was last night's game up in Cleveland. Those lake effect winds and snow things really kind of got into the game, so could be worse.
yeah, it could be worse. It reminded me why I'm so excited that I live here. And then I look outside, I see sunshine, and it's relatively warm. I did see a meme though that said, don't bother me once the temperature is less than my age. And it was just like, yep, that's kind of how I feel. I want to be in my bunny slippers and sit back. And so um, I feel for everybody, but I'm glad I'm here in Cali.
When I left my house this morning at 8 a.m. Pacific or Eastern time, I have to clarify that stuff now. It was 39 degrees when I got to my car.
Mhm.
Yes. Good morning, Kathy. Kathy Zamansky's out there. A couple things, everybody. First of all, as always, thank you for watching us. If you're watching us on Facebook, of course, you're right there with us at Kiwanis Connect show. You can also go over to the WWDB TV Las Vegas channels. You have two to choose from. YouTube, same thing, WWDB TV or the Kiwanis Connect show on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, you can still comment. John grabs them, puts them in our chat room, so we'll see you out there. And in a couple of days, of course, you can go to the great WWDB TV channel on Roku and have a plethora of options of shows to watch. Not only our great show, which is now year 2 for this rendition of Kiwanis Connects, and doing great things and getting some great notoriety really around the world for what we bring. So you can check it out there. Of course, you can give us a call as we get ready. This is our Thanksgiving edition because we are going to enjoy Black Friday next week because we're going to be filled with so much tryptophan that I don't know that we'll be able to get out of bed on time. So next week we will do an encore presentation, right, Doc Val?
Absolutely. And this show is, I really think that we've done this a couple times now. This is like an anniversary for us.
Yeah.
Really talking about, and it was like a kickoff to mental health moments, but this is the time when people start to have all kinds of very odd feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at our guest who hopefully will join us at some point in time. He wrote a book, and it was called My Keeper's Daughter. And in looking at My Keeper's Daughter, I looked through it and I read through it, and it brought about some things that I think a lot of us forget, as Kiwanians especially, is that while we may think this is the great time to celebrate and we're busy giving, we're not paying attention to what's going on sometimes in our own worlds and realizing that this is a very emotional time for people. If many people out there, I've heard the statistic 1 in 7 are single and alone.
Wow.
1 in 7. That's a lot of people that don't have those kinds of connections. Some of those are because they are part of a divorced family, or they are part of the lost. And in doing that, it's like this is not a happy season for them. This is not a thankful season.
Right.
So being able to reach out to people, I think, is really important at this point in time. And so I didn't want to be Debbie Downer, but I do want to acknowledge that as we're out there and we're looking around, pay attention, touch base with some of the people that you normally would see that you haven't seen in a while. They may be struggling. So
Absolutely, and again, it's a great reminder. Our good friend Melissa Atwell mental health moment. It's available for support and resources. But you know what? It's unfortunate that it's the holiday season that we always seem to put more of a spotlight on the stresses of life because of loneliness when it's the holidays. Bottom line is, folks, this goes on 365 days of the year. It doesn't just have to happen around a holiday. But
Mm-hmm.
simplistic things in life that can make a difference for somebody. You see somebody in the street or in a store, hey, how you doing today? That's all. Just say hi to somebody. Make eye contact with them. How is your day going? You don't know. Oh, sorry, John, I forgot about that. Don't call us. John's not in the studio, but put your comments in the comment section.
Okay.
But yeah, so you just don't know what a just an acknowledgement for somebody will do for somebody to be seen or to be heard. And I pulled up the synopsis. You can find his book on Amazon, or you can go to Mark's website. You can just look him up online. But the synopsis reads as follows, and it's right in line with what Val was saying. My daughter's keeper tugs on the heartstrings of any parent who's endured the pain and challenges of co-parenting, custody disputes, or separated families. Written with accountability and compassion, it has been crafted to challenge readers to consider the ways our circumstances, including the painful ones, set us up to develop into a better version of ourselves. The book's about 124 pages.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the chapters' names, folks, just to give you an idea: The Savior Complex, Family Court, and Lessons Learned. The reader arrives at the end feeling that the time and emotion they put into reading this book was well worth it. So it's definitely worth checking out. And if I'm not mistaken, this book also has sort of helped spurn what he does for a living. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, one of the things that I noticed in knowing him is that he is always trying to figure out how to give and so his actions are is proof positive that he's made these life changes. So helping start and run the Tarzana Treatment Center, and really focusing in on youth, focusing in on the family connections, making the programs accessible, makes it an award-winning center. And so that's one of the reasons why he may not be on the call today, but we still need to spotlight the fact that right now, a lot of those transition centers are full to the brim, because
Absolutely.
this is the time when people have hit that part of that grief cycle where they're bargaining. And in grief, it's you get through the anger, then you start bargaining and saying, well, if I make life better, will you welcome me to the table? If I appeal to your better nature and I check myself in for a couple of days, I stop drinking, I'll stop doing drugs, I'll stop doing blah, blah, blah. It's the whole, if I give up something. And so places like where Mark is, this is the busiest time of year for them.
Right.
This is absolutely the busiest time. And they offer all kinds of programs. And I know that there are these types of places all over, at least the United States. Am I freezing on you, though?
No, you're good.
Okay. They're all across the United States. And I recommend that if you're an organization that's looking for someone to partner with, some of the treatment centers are a perfect place to partner. That they actually are dealing with people who may not tell anyone that they're hungry. They may not tell them that they're in the process of losing their job or they're in the process of whatever. But these people, each one that steps in needs that little extra. I'm a hugger, so my thing is I can go and hug all day. They need that little extra versus some of the other centers, they get so much stuff that they don't know what to do with it.
You can go the website. John has got a scroll up on the bottom of the screen for Mark's book as well, and we'll flip it over to it's up there now as a site for the research center or the center, the treatment center. I don't know where they came up with the name of Tarzana. I mean, unless there was a Tarzan fan in there, but there are multiple locations of the treatment centers. They're located in Lancaster, Long Beach, Los Angeles, Northridge, Palmdale, Reseda. Tarzana must be the main facility, which it is, and Woodland Hills. So they're in really pretty much the heart and soul of the center of the state of California. They do have a toll-free number if you need to call them at 888-777 8565. That's 888-777-8565. Go to the website, check it out, because it is a, dare I say, a plethora of resources and treatments that they can help support family with, everything from substance abuse, mental health, COVID issues. They have a training center. They even have a programs for education that they, I mean, it's a tremendous site and a tremendous resource for those who need the support and family support. And, the biggest thing that I learned in my battle, and it's ironic we're kind of talking about this because today marks 24 years when I lost my mom. And after all of that, the depression started and all that stuff. And the hardest thing that I had to do was, raise the white flag and say, okay, I need help. I can't cope with this. I needed that support. And I'm still, using that support today, 24 years later. The biggest thing is we have to not be afraid to say, teacher, I need help. We have to go above, especially for us guys. We're the last ones. We don't even ask for directions. How can we ask for help? When it comes to matters of the heart or the head, we can't be afraid to do that, and we have to ask for it.
And it's not just guys, and some of it's cultural too.
Yeah.
In the culture that I was brought up in, it was if you reached out for any kind of help and took your laundry outside of the family, then you might be considered a Michigana. And so it was just like, periodically my mom will say, do you think I'm Michigana? And I'm like, no, you've just hit that limit. And for those of you who don't know what Michigana is, can you share?
Oh, Aaron? Absolutely.
Sorry. It's just a part of my...
No, that's okay. First of all, I'll make light of it. What do you call someone from Michigan? Michigana. So I'll get a little early start on bad dad jokes. So Michigana is a Yiddish word for being crazy. That's all. It's you're crazy. You're Michigana for doing that. So it's just the Hebrew word for being crazy, a little silly, that sort of thing. So, yep.
Right, and it's been a part of our family lexicon. That's just a word that we use.
Yep.
And I always look at my mom and I'm like, no. Even my cousin, who's finally broken the mold in our family, she has on her license plate Mind Doc, and she is one of the most amazing counselors I have ever met. You're not supposed to counsel your family, but she did rescue me 2 weeks ago. I'm got to tell you, she rescued me. But she helped develop the whole wraparound wellness and mental health facilities at the University of Arizona in Tucson. And almost every program that's out there for students, she has had a hand in developing over the last 28 years.
Nice.
And this center, the Tarzana centers, are based on the same model that universities use for students.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
it is. If you, in any community, you need these wraparound services that you may only need an hour. You may need a 15-minute boosted update about something that is mailed out to you, or you may need a support group. And it is that same exact model that the college campuses have been using for decades.
Right.
So it's very cool.
Nice. No, it's again, the stuff is out there and you don't know that it is until you need it. And then when you think you need help, where do you turn to actually ask for it? So it kind of gets, it's kind of like that cycle. Before I forget, we're going to get ready to go to our first break here this morning as we are waiting. Hopefully Mark will be able to join us. Hopefully it's not anything serious that he's not able to join us. First and foremost, on last week's show, by the way, for whatever the reason, Facebook is having an issue with me being able to put ads up for last week's show, or not last week we reran it, but 2 weeks ago when we had Kylie on from the Possibilities Project. So I need to ask everybody's help out there. When you go to, or please go to, and stay on the Facebook page or the YouTube channel, go to the videos tab on the Kiwanis Connects show. You have to go to the little tab that says more, hit the drop down, and videos will be right there. I need you guys to copy and paste the URL from that show with Kylie so we can get those views up, because Facebook, like I said, is having an issue for some ungodly reason, thinking that we're asking for money fraudulently. And I've appealed it. I've told them what's going on. And every time they do, so I need you to do that. But on the heels of that, I started the fact that I put out there to put a commercial together so that when the Possibilities Project and KI decides to go out and source the public for financial support, they need a commercial. So The Voice has stepped up and has offered to support and sponsor the 90-second commercial for $350, with $50 off the top going to the Rose Float Club. However, a handful of members out there on last week's show, is that for the show you're asking for? Oh, okay, for that. Okay, gotcha. For the commercial.
No, I would like to make sure that Mark has the link.
Yep. John just responded. So
Okay.
We got 3 offers of support towards that $350 to help offset some of my own costs. So I believe Douglas and I want to say Maritza, and I forgot off the top of my head who was the third one. And then Herman reached out to me this past week asking about it, and I asked him to go to Douglas direct because I anointed Douglas as my coordinator for anybody else who wants to donate towards that. So if you do, that would be cool. If not, I appreciate the support. So we're going to put a 90-second commercial together, so far sponsored by myself and at least 3 other Kiwanians. And of course, Herman doesn't let me down because what do I know him as? He's the man of C's Candy. And he's out there hoofing candy this week. I saw his flyer. I reposted it on the Kiwanis Connects page, and I put out there, Herman doesn't let me down. How cool is that? Oh,
that's so awesome.
Absolutely.
So awesome.
And I'm sure he's listening because I think I saw a little post out there that he's out there, he's hawk. I can just hear Herman now. C's Candy here. Get your candy here. Like the old hawkers at a ball field. You know what I'm saying? All right, with that, I think we're going to step aside for a break here because I think we're about to get Mark finally linked in with us. And hopefully after the break, we'll have him on. John's got a couple of commercials. So, John, spin the spots as long as we may need to get Mark on, and then we'll come back after that. You're watching Kiwanis Connects with the wonderful Doc Val and the sometimes wonderful yours truly. Hey, by the way, Thanksgiving-themed bad dad jokes coming up. That's right, I said it. Thanksgiving. There's no gravy about that. Hey, we'll be right back.
Are you feeling overwhelmed or stressed? Remember to take a moment for your mental health. At the Mental Health Moment, we believe in the power of self-care and community support. Our mission is to encourage and empower individuals across generations to prioritize their mental well-being. Our program called CARE takes you through community, awareness, resources, and education so we can support you every step of the way. Join us at the Mental Health Moment. Visit our website or follow us on social media because your mental health matters. Remember, take a moment for your mental health.
Thanks to the efforts of the Cal Neva District of Kiwanis, there's been a Kiwanis presence in the Rose Bowl Parade for more than half of the New Year's Day Parade since 1921. In the past, our efforts were funded through club sponsorships, outside sponsorships, by the generous donations from Kiwanis members or club foundations sponsoring riders on the Kiwanis float itself. The District Rose Float Committee handles fundraising, and the Kiwanis Rose Float Club secures and organizes the volunteers. When Kiwanis International wanted to sponsor a large portion of our float, momentum from our clubs was lost due to any fundraising. The time has come to have our clubs increase their involvement in the fundraising efforts. But the Rose Float Kiwanis Club needs the help from all Kiwanis clubs, its members, and businesses to answer the call for support. Visit our Kiwanis Rose Float page on Facebook. Help make sure that Kiwanis International will let the world continue to smell the roses for a long time.
All right, welcome back. Shout out to Diane Anthony who's there. Our good friend Grace out in South Africa. By the way, Grace, I just put a comment or actually a question for you in the chat room, but we had a guest out here that visited the Virginia Beach Kiwanis Club and the Norfolk Kiwanis Club last week, Chief Joseph Ole Tepenko. He is the chief of the Maasai tribe in Africa. And he came out to speak, and it was a wonderful presentation. And he and his tribe, they just built a school for 60 students for safe haven. It's like a safe haven school for students who are either disowned by their family for one reason or another, or whatever. And it was a great presentation. And what I offered, and I said to the chief and his friend that was sponsoring him, hey, I know a lieutenant governor out that way. Grace is a good friend of ours on their show. So I'm hoping to connect them, that maybe with Grace out there, and at some point hoping to have Chief Joe. He is more than open to coming on the show and talk about what he's doing. It was an absolutely inspiring presentation. So joining us now, bailing me out of me babbling and wasting time, so we got him on the air. Do not try that at home, ladies and gentlemen. I am an unprofessional here. Joining us, Mr. Mark Winkler from the Tarzana Treatment Centers and author of the aforementioned book that we were talking about earlier, My Daughter's Keeper. Good morning, Mark. How are you, sir?
Good morning. Good morning. Can you guys hear me okay?
We hear you and see you great.
I was having all kind of connectivity issues, so I apologize about my tardiness, but I'm glad I'm able to be here, be in the space with everyone.
Well, thank you.
Let's blame it on sunflares. Let's blame it on sunflares and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Actually, you know what, Mark, you could have told us you were busy saving a cat from a tree. We wouldn't have known the difference. Grace is currently watching from Tanzania right now.
Tanzania, wow.
And it's a
Hello, Grace.
So, Grace, thank you. So listen, we are truly international. So, go ahead, Val. Why don't you take it away with Mark?
So, Mark, we started with talking about, because this is going to be also our Thanksgiving show.
Okay.
We were talking about a little bit. We started with your book because it really hit home for me how when you're in a co-parenting situation or you're on your own, this could be some of the saddest and neediest time of year for you.
It can be. Absolutely. You're absolutely right about that, Dr. Valerie. We're actually getting calls from different school environments to come and to speak to parents, to students about, increased levels of depression and anxiety. And for us here at Tarzana, that's even more concerning because we know that is a precipitator for people to either increase their drug use or to revisit their drug use. So we're taking as many of these calls as possible. Of course, capacity won't allow us to go everywhere, but as this is the time of year that, because of the social aspect of it, because people are encouraged to connect with family and friends, if that is not available to people or they have some sort of impediment to that, it definitely is not as joyful. But we're hoping that as many people that have that available take advantage of it, because it's truly like medicine. So we're encouraging everyone out there to, during these holidays, to connect to friends and family and even mend fractured relationships if possible. Let the joyous season wash upon you.
Mark, you have regards in the comment section here from our good friend Douglas Chadwick, says hello. Grace Val says to you that they are organizing their first club in Tanzania. Please pass on my regards and remind her I'm looking forward to the voluncation.
Absolutely. And, Grace, I'm doing the major shout out to you. There are 3 doctors that have signed up already to say that they are coming for the voluncation. So this is going to be real. And so, Mark, the voluncation is having people go to a place in Africa and be able to provide educational support, emotional support, and medical support.
That's amazing.
And Grace is our amazing connection. She's been on the show a couple of times. And so that's why we keep doing that shout out. We're not taking any time away from you.
Well, I sacrificed some of my time, so I have to be understanding about this.
All right. Well, one thing that I did want to know is there a way for different organizations to partner with your treatment center to be able to make that human connect that's needed.
Absolutely. Connection and networking is really something that I try to strongly advocate. In fact, I have a monthly cohort that I convene at different locations around the Valley and sometimes in Los Angeles, called the Community Coalition Network. And for me, that's an opportunity for organizations to come out of their silos and to connect with other organizations that are doing similar work but different. Right? We have some organizations that may just solely concentrate on mental health, and then some a hybrid mental health, substance use treatment. Then we have some that concentrates on housing issues, and then we have some that concentrate on helping people with disabilities, developmental disabilities. And so it's really a hub for organizations, and so we encourage that. My information is up there. They can definitely reach out. We love partnerships. We understand very clearly that we can't do it all. We don't have the capacity to do it all. We have a specialized things that we do here at Tarzana. We do a lot, but there's things outside of our strengths. So connecting with organizations is something that we love to do, to make referrals outside. Once we do what we do in the treatment world, then there's stabilization again in the community, and having community partners to help to do that just makes it go a lot smoother. Then there's organizations that are working with youth and adults who are experiencing an addictive or alcoholic moment, and they need to refer to us. So back and forth, we're extremely open to that now.
One of the things that's pretty amazing about Kiwanis, it's like Kiwanis behind my head, is that both in the CNH Children's Fund and also the Kiwanis International Children's Fund, both have grant opportunities to support mental health programs, because health and nutrition has been blossomed out to include mental health programs specifically. And there are mental health grants in California, Nevada, and Hawaii specifically, that if a Kiwanis club wanted to partner with you to do something, maybe it's an educational program in the schools, or buy a book or a squishy or something that you use as a tool with students, I think that would be a great linkage. Because you're in how many communities, Aaron, did you say? Or someone tell me, you're in a ton of communities.
What, Tarzana? We're like 19 different locations. And we do a lot of work. My department specifically, we do a lot. Our focus is youth between the ages of like 8 and 18. Well, it's as high as 20. And we are in community centers. We are in about 15 different Los Angeles Unified School Districts. Schools, we just opened up relationships with Glendale Unified School District to provide first time ever substance use treatment in that environment. We have a score of prevention programs that we have. So we've worked with, and we have a very good relationship with Kiwanis Literacy Club, and we've brought them out to events that we've done and giving away scores of books. And I know those squishy items that you're talking about. I'm familiar with that. So expanding that is definitely something that we would love to do. And we will continue doing.
Awesome.
I love that the literacy club's involved. Yet another club that my membership is hanging on is doing more stuff. I love it. Even all the way out here on the East Coast. Your book obviously is the telltale of your aha moment, I would say, as it correlates to your involvement for what you do for Tarzana. But what was the factors that precipitated at the very end of all of this that you said, you know what, after everything that's gone on, I still have enough of myself to give to others? How did you compartmentalize that after you dealt with the personal stuff and then said, you know what, I can still do this and help with others? Tell us about that.
Well, that's a good question. And your nickname suits you very well, Aaron. the voice.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I would say for me, it was after I transcended the emotionality of it and realized that my story, my narrative, could hold meaning for other parents, specifically fathers, going through this journey. I wanted to not have a victory lap with the book. I didn't want to have a celebration. I wanted to have a very real look at what brought me to that moment where I was in court with my child and what I needed to do as an individual to really become the best father that I could be. And so once I got past all of the dynamics that caused me to really just sort of fold into myself, I decided it was time to unfold from myself and have a conversation with individuals who I thought could it could be some it could resonate. And so that was my moment. I really just said, I have a story to tell, and I'm in an emotional space where I can tell that story in a very honest way.
Right on. And it probably had to have been pretty cathartic for you too, almost helping your own mind process everything that you had gone through to then be able to sit down and write the book. Did you get a sense of relief after that?
It was. I mean, I think it was a release throughout the entire process, actually. Okay. And it was a release actually when I decided to do it, right? Because I had to come to a point of just sort of a self-realization that I'm about to expose parts of myself that had not been really, before. Sure. I didn't really talk about it. I talked about it in the context of what I was doing.
Right.
But so that was a moment of me that said, oh, I can do this. And I just began to have a release from those inhibitions about saying things in public that really could help other people.
Yeah, you gave yourself permission to be able to process it. So
I did. I de-radicalized my masculinity. People say, what is that? Well, I just said to myself, it's okay to expose the emotional parts of myself and still feel very rooted in my manhood doing that. And so I made that decision.
I just want to remind our audience that are just tuning in, first of all, where are you? You're late. Anyway, thank you for joining us.
That's unacceptable. I
didn't mean you, Mark. Actually, if folks are just tuning in, you wouldn't know that Mark had some issues getting on with us, but that's okay. Hey, technology happens. But Mark Winkler joins us. He is the supervisor of the Tarzana Treatment Centers and author of a very important book, My Daughter's Keeper, joins us today. I do have to say to this, Mark, I'm going to say it's very sad that you are joining us today because I'm going to have to radicalize you on my bad dad jokes that have a Thanksgiving theme to them today. That is a staple here. We do some bad dad jokes, or at least I do.
I have to hear them. I'm okay with that.
Well, you will. And if you want to disconnect me from Facebook after that, I totally understand. So anyway, thank everybody for joining. Because we don't have the phone available to us today, if you have any questions that you'd like us to pass on to Mark, please put them in the chat room on Facebook or YouTube. They will pop up on the screen, but we'll be sure to share. One question I have, Val, and then I'd love to throw it back to you. Talk about fundraising. How are you guys funded to do what you do?
Well, it's different. It's different sources. So there are some private funding, there's state funding, there's federal funding. We get funding from SAPC, Substance Abuse Prevention Control. I oversee a few grants that's specifically funded by SAPC. We just sunset a grant that was funded by the Department of Juvenile Justice. And so there's a bunch of different sources.
Okay.
And so it's a year-round effort. But we're always open for more funding opportunities and grants.
Well, if you ever need a voice to help you out with any of that stuff, let me know. Go ahead, Val.
Gotta have the voice.
Oh, absolutely. Aaron is one of those people that he can sell ice to Eskimos and silent movies to blind people. it is.
Can I quote you on that one? Silent
Oh,
movies.
absolutely.
I've never heard that one either.
Well, okay, thank you, Mark.
It's one of the situations where when more and more of us talk about it, and we
Mhm.
normalize that this is where our resources need to go. I think that more people will want to help and be there. I can't imagine what it's like staffing all the things that you do. I always thought you were the busiest man in LA. And I was just like, I know you can't clone yourself any more than you already have. So what type of staff and support do you have as far as the human resources?
Well, I mean, Tarzan is a pretty large operation. It has probably close to maybe 1,500 employees spread out throughout these 19 different locations. I supervise probably about maybe 12 individuals. And the value of teamwork, it really, I just understand that concept so much more, because you this concept of being a maverick it's okay if when you are out there and sort of leading the charge, but once the charge has been led and once you are in the environments where you're working, being a maverick doesn't work. You have to have people around you that share at least a percentage of the ideology that you have of helping, have the spirit and the motivation, because it is something that it can be draining, because you're working with individuals who are sometimes in the darkest parts of their life. And when you are in that space with them, if you don't have someone that you can tag team off of, it's hard to block that energy from coming inside of you if you have any sort of level of empathy and sympathy. And so, I mean, teamwork is so crucial. So really finding the right people. And what does that even mean? I think just finding the right person is just finding individuals who express motivations to want to help to change in a realistic way, right? Not to want to change I want to change the world, right? When I was younger, I used to use that terminology, but now I say I just want to help change the world, right? And even when I say that, that sets a parameters in my mind that there's certain things I can do, and then there's certain things I cannot do. And the things that I can do, I'm going to do as well as I can. And the things that I cannot do because of capacity and time and energy, I'm going to make sure, going back to what you were saying, Val, I'm going to make sure that I build significant and meaningful partnerships within the agency, within my family, within the community, and within myself, right? Partnerships within myself, to be honest, right? So there may be this drive that I have, I'm just going to do it. But then my mind says, wait a second, hold on a minute, man. You were literally killing us here. Will you please tag team this thing off to someone? And so partnerships.
And at my age, my body's also telling me, it's like, I know you want to get out of bed and go do that, but you can't.
Exactly. So you, at a certain point, you got to just have this very real conversation with yourself. And so I look for people who, who at least just demonstrate some level of being able to have that conversation, but still motivated at the same time.
On that note, guys, let's step aside for a final break of the show a little bit early so that we make sure we have enough time on the back end. By the way, a shout out to our good friend Herman. I will always help support his Seas Candy because chocolate is my addiction. He is at, is it Stater or Statter? How is that pronounced?
Stater Brothers.
Stater.
There you go.
Stater
Well, you obviously know it better than me. Stater Brothers. That's where Herman is, selling Seas Candies for the holidays. Go out there, check him out. If you go by, tell him Kiwanis Connects says hello and that Aaron expects a box of chocolates. Anyway, hey, don't go anywhere. We got more with Mark. We got Kiwanis Wow moments. Yes, we have turkey-themed bad dad jokes. Don't choke on the wishbone. We'll be right back.
At Kiwanis Family House, we build communities and give hope. But when someone is sick, families can be tested in ways they never imagined. Parents have to travel far from home to get their child the complex medical care needed. They may have to miss work and worry about paying the bills, and all the while, trying to keep their family together. That's where Kiwanis Family House comes in. Kiwanis Family House provides a home away from home for families with sick family members receiving treatment at nearby hospitals. Families stay at Kiwanis Family House for as long as they need. This allows them to be close to their sick family member and each other during a stressful time. Every day, Kiwanis Family House witnesses how families are a powerful source of support and healing during difficult times due to illness or trauma. Every day, Kiwanis Family House celebrates the importance of family and the power of love and support.
Are you feeling overwhelmed or stressed? Remember to take a moment for your mental health. At the Mental Health Moment, we believe in the power of self-care and community support. Our mission is to encourage and empower individuals across generations to prioritize their mental well-being. Our program called CARE takes you through community, awareness, resources, and education so we can support you every step of the way. Join us at the Mental Health Moment. Visit our website or follow us on social media because your mental health matters. Remember, take a moment for your mental health.
All righty then. Well, welcome back. Wow. And okay. Welcome back. I don't know. It's like just trying to read and talk at the same time. It's like walking into a bubble gum. Yeah, it just doesn't work. Welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. Aaron and Val, of course, spending time with our guest today, Mr. Mark Winkler, Tarzana Treatment Center supervisor and author of a very important book, My Daughter's Keeper, detailing what he personally went through in dealing with certain things and stresses in his life regarding his family and his children. Is a must read. Want to take this opportunity, Herman? I'll message you, Herman. Okay, Herman wants to make a donation for the commercial for the Possibilities Project. So Herman, I'll message you direct, sir. So, and I figured out who it was. I forgot. It was Kathy Zemansky, who was the other person I forgot at the top of the show. So I have 4 folks who have been gracious enough to add to the pot for that. If you guys want to do that, just message me direct. All right. So Val, I'll turn it back to you because I want to make sure we have enough time to get out what we need to with Mark. Leave you time for WOW and mental health minutes. And then, of course, bad dad jokes regarding Thanksgiving. Sorry.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Wait a minute. Mark, can you say that again so that when we edit this a little bit, John can time mark it and I can pull that out?
I'm looking forward to those jokes.
The true test will be if you'll ever want to come back on again after the jokes. That'll be the true test. But I did see Andy. He's already logged in a half hour. He's in a half hour already. He's waiting.
Yeah. He's waiting. Yeah, my husband loves these, and so he really needs 3 jokes this week, especially after dealing with me. But Mark, one of the things that a lot of people say is, I don't need the treatment center, but I know someone who does, and I really want to help them. How do they connect in with you? How do they get someone to you, or is that just not part of how you operate?
No, I mean, they could really go to our website, and if we're in a location where they are, if we have a treatment center in the location where they are, they could reach out. And we have locations in Woodland Hills, Lancaster, Tarzana, Long Beach, Los Angeles. So we have a lot of different locations. The only 2 locations for youth treatment, though, is Tarzana, California, and Lancaster. And we have a treatment center in Lancaster for youth. And we're one of the only organizations that accepts Medi-Cal for drug treatment for youth. And so it's a easy process when there's openings. We have both outpatient and inpatient treatment. We have detox. So there's a lot of different avenues for healing within the organization. So it's really just a matter of getting to the website. The number to contact us is there. And really the first step of healing is the acknowledgement that healing is necessary. And that's when the journey begins, right? And if you have someone in your life who is supporting you in that journey, that's a beautiful thing, because unfortunately, what happens is when someone is going through the channels of an addictive experience or alcoholic experience, they dislodge people from their life, either purposely or involuntarily, because people just get tired of trying to help. And if they still have, the resemblance of a support system, that someone is willing to just step in and help them on that first step of sobriety and healing, that's beautiful. And so we do encourage them to make that call, because that support system is necessary throughout the entire stage of recovery.
I do want to give out that number that's on the website that Mark referenced. 888-777-8565. That's 888-777-8565. And one of the things I want to draw to everybody's attention when you go to the website, which John has been running on the scroll underneath, it's tarzanatc.org. Listen, scroll all the way to the bottom. There's a blue band across the bottom with all sorts of wonderful links. But on the left side, second column, second word down, is that great word that everybody loves. It begins with the letter D and ends with the word 8. It's called donate. You can hit that button, make a donation. Now, can you break down, like, if someone makes $100 donation, what does that go to? Or can you give us just some breakdown as to how some of those dollars are used for, let's say, one individual within the treatment center?
Sure. So, I mean, there's a cost for the staffing, especially if you're talking about our inpatient. There's the staffing, there's food, there's we have medication treatment. It's called MAT, medication assisted treatment. It's just really the funds are just dispersed throughout the organization to create to help to fill any shortfalls that we may or may not get from whatever consistent funding sources that we have. Because it always fluctuates, right? And so our goal is to make certain that we have enough staff and enough capacity to do the work that we have said that we're going to do in the community.
Mark, are you a golfer?
I am not a golfer. My brother is. He's been trying to get me to become a golfer. So
okay, after the holidays, I'm going to give you a call about a fundraising idea regarding golf.
Okay, I would love that.
All right.
I would love that. I would learn. I'll learn to golf because of that.
I still golf, and I don't know how to play well, but I still golf. Everybody has to duck when I'm out there. But
I would even dust off my clubs and golf bag and come on down and be a part of that.
All right.
There you go.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, golf used to be my mental health process. I would, during my breaks, I would write names of people that I really wanted to take out on the golf ball at the driving range. My swing got really, really good for a couple of years there.
We all have to have those strategies,
right? Each their own.
I call them joy strategies. Some people call them coping strategies, but
yes,
I don't like to use that word. I like to use joy strategies, because the more we think about joy, the more we build up an understanding that we have a right to it. So I could dig that as one of your joy strategies, Dr.
And I'm going to be using. Well, I'm going to be using that term, joy strategies. For the rest of you may see that in my book when I finally publish it, because that is such a beautiful way to look at that. And the one thing I did want to make sure that I asked you because you talked about 8 years old, what kind of joy strategies do you give to an 8-year-old? It seems so young.
Yeah, it is. And I think it really is helping them to replace those thoughts that they get stuck in, like everything, those catastrophic thoughts, like everything is bad, everything is nothing is good in my life, and the younger you are, the harder it is to escape those thoughts. So really just helping them to see a variety of things that are good in their life, that's joyful in their life, and really encouraging the people who are in their life to connect them as much as possible to these various, what I call joy locations in their life, so they can really just escape that moment. Because it's really in those stuck moments that we feel hopeless. So the more that we can have an opportunity to see that, yeah, this is a bad moment, right? But on the other side of that, there's this joyful moment. There's this person who really loves me. There's this set of friends that I have. And then the more that they can really visualize that and then resonate that throughout their body, they begin to, become more open, one, for treatment, and then just more open to taking a little chance at enjoying themselves. And that's something that really in the treatment process in general, the more that people who go through an addictive or alcoholic experience, the more that they realize that there's joy on the other side of that experience, the more that they can begin to not just get stuck on that. Because in treatment, you have like stages of recovery, right? And so most people who go through an addictive experience or alcoholic experience, they get stuck in the service stage of recovery and going to meetings, which is great because that is the part of the treatment process that helps them to stay sober. But they get stuck there because on the other side of that is joy. But that for some people, it's like, oh, there's people, places, and things that you're asking me to go connect to again to get my joy. But the founders of the anonymous community, Dr. Bob and Bill W., in their big book that they wrote, that most people, when they go to the anonymous communities, they, especially the alcoholic communities, they read this book, is that they talk about getting back to joy. So for me, joy really is the ultimate goal, right? And I'm not unrealistic. I know we don't exist in total joy, but we can have a foundation of joy when your life can be structured around that. When something does happen that knocks you off of that, you can more easily fall back into that mindset of joy. But the more that you have these thoughts of things are always bad and there's nothing good in my life, right now, if we were to canvass the audience and ask them, give me 10 things that you consider not good in your life, they could just like that. But if you say, give me 3 things that you're really joyful about, they would struggle. And then they'll do some global things like, well, my family, my friends, and I say, well, take a moment and give me 5 things that you were joyful about yesterday. And they're struggling again. But there are things. Main thing, you're alive, right? If I'm asking you this question and you're hearing me or you're receiving what I'm saying, then that's the first thing. And so, but there's always things. So with this 8-year-old, it's getting them unstuck. And then we just helping people along. And this is a lot what we do in schools as well. And unfortunately, Val and Aaron, we get a lot. We're starting to get more and more calls from younger and younger populations in schools. It used to be just about coming in and doing prevention, just say no. But we're getting calls from schools and elementary schools and middle schools where they're actually using drugs, vaping and edibles. So we have to go in and just really just do the best we can to interrupt that.
With that, everybody, you can message Mark direct. You can email him at mwinkler@tarzanatc.org. His phone number at the office is 818-996-1051, extension 3133. He's on Facebook. You can go to his website, of course. You can get more information about his book and everything there as well. You can simply visit markwinkler.com. That's his own website. A lot of good stuff. I know we barely scratched the surface, if at all, and everything that we could touch on in the span of our show. So I want to encourage everybody to reach out to Mark direct. Go to the website, check out what Tarzana can offer you and your family, because as our favorite word around here is plethora, there are a plethora of options with which can be used to help you and your family. And if your family is quote unquote perfect, but somebody else or another family that may need some help, refer them to the website, refer them. And like I said at the top, the hardest thing for people to do is to ask for help. Well, we're trying to make it easy for you. Just do it, as Nike says. All right, Mark, sit tight before we officially wrap things up. We're going to transition out to a part of the show where Val shares with us some Kiwanis Club wow moments and some mental health minutes before we get to bad dad jokes. Take it away, Val.
I just love that. It makes me feel like a superhero. Um, so, but I have to share one very quick wow. In Georgia, we had a guest, Daryl Gums, come in and talk about all the things that he does in reading to littles every day. Well, yesterday he shared something with me that was just a serious knock me off my chair wow. And that is because there is a little school, it's called Heroes Elementary School. They focus in on heroes in the community. And when the children walk in, they see a gigantic flag of the United States. And in that flag are little pictures of heroes from their community. And you can touch it and you can get the story of the hero that is in that little picture that makes up the larger flag. But that wasn't my wow moment. My wow moment was that they started a year ago, and there are like 900 kids in the school. And Daryl started a K-Kids club at this school. And the very first project that they wanted to do was a canned food drive because there are lots of hungry people that were affected by the hurricane. So Daryl thinks, okay, this is going to work really well. Reality is he drives up his little van and goes to pick up the canned goods because, there's probably not going to be very many of them. He couldn't fit them in 2 loads in his van and 2 loads in a teacher's van. The kids did so well that they challenged each level of class to also collect another special item that was needed at the shelters. That is
wow. That is a wow. Wonderful. By the way, I caught him a couple of times during his readings live on Facebook. And I'll tell you what, God bless him. I mean, he one time I caught he and his wife, they were sitting in the car. They didn't care. They pulled over. It was 11 o'clock. They're sitting in the front seat. He's reading. She's just observing. So good for them. And to get the K-Kids motivated enough to do something like that truly is a wow moment.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Absolutely. And, it's like for my mental health moment, I've been talking to people about finding your peace of mind. And so just in a quick minute is thinking about how do you get centered and find your peace of mind during this time. There is so much coming in on you. You're all out there giving every day. Herman, please, he's on the street corner selling lollipops and chocolate. And it's like, I want to make sure, Herman, you take a moment out for yourself.
Yep.
Think about you during this time period because you are so valuable to so many people. And know that each and every one of us who is a servant leader, take some time out for yourself during this time and find your peace of mind.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I don't know. I just had this vision of thinking of Herman standing on the street corner selling anything. It's just where my mind goes. Especially after 27 years in Las Vegas, when you mention street corner and selling, mind, so well said. Well said. But make sure, and you know what, folks? People say I don't have time to sit. Let me tell you something. 3 days a week, I still go to CrossFit. Why? Because I put it on my calendar as an appointment.
Yeah.
If you have to schedule 5 minutes on your calendar to turn the lights off, put your fingers in your ears, whatever it is, put it on your calendar to make it happen until it becomes a habit. There's nothing wrong with that. We have to get into habits of doing these things because if I don't go to work out with that on my calendar, I feel like I missed an appointment. And then
Absolutely.
I have to go twice the next day, and that really sucks when you can't do certain movements. Anyway, But certainly schedule it. Make the time for yourself. It's the most important appointment you can make. All right. With that, John, let's rile it up. It's time for some bad Thanksgiving dad jokes. Let's go. I shared this with John before he went on the air, so all of you may cringe at the jokes with which I share. But I want you to know that my wife is a facilitator because she came home the other day shopping, and look what she bought me for the show. Another box, and I read through some of them, and they are terrific. But then I realized it is Thanksgiving, so I'm saving those because I got to go through some Thanksgiving-themed bad dad jokes. Here you go. Andy, I know you're ready, my brother. Mark, don't hate me after these, my friend.
Let her rap.
Folks, first one of a few. Why did the turkey bring a microphone? Because he was ready to roast. All right, you know what? I should stop right there. I lost Mark on the first one. That's my goal. All right. What sound does a turkey's phone make?
Turkey what make?
Turkey's phone. What's the ringer for a turkey's phone? Come on now. Wing, wing,
Double,
wing.
double.
Okay. See, he cut to the gal from England, and I got Val. That was, all right, here we go. What do you call a running turkey? That's a good one. What do you call a running turkey, John? John, what you got for our contestants? You ready? You call a running turkey fast food. All right. I told you they were bad, Mark. Come on now.
They're so incredibly bad. They're good. I love it.
Right. Hey, Mark, you are now the valedictorian of my bad jokes because you get it. They're so bad, they're so good. Just remember, folks, I just read them. I don't write them. Okay. Why was the turkey put in jail? The police suspected foul play. Mark, I see the ceiling. I don't think the ceiling in your office goes all, the wall goes all the way to your ceiling. The people who are listening to, although you got your earbud in, but if they're hearing you laugh, don't be surprised if they come knocking on your door for some help. You know what I'm saying, my friend? All right, here you go. What did the mother turkey say to her disobedient children? If your father could see you now, he'd turn over in his gravy. That wasn't so good. Come on, people, you got him. Now, that one I know. I have to admit, it looked good when I read it before the show, but that one just, I agree. I know. All right, so that one's, listen, I'm a bad one. All right. Why did the turkey get detention at school? Well, because he was related to the guy that went to jail earlier. He was got detention because he used foul language. That's why. Okay.
Oh, you should have stopped earlier.
I got two more and then I'm done, I promise. This one is a little bit of a visual, folks. You kind of have to stick with this one. All right. Why do pilgrims' pants always fall down? Why? Andy sends me a really with a question mark. Oh, my God. I've been knocked down a few pegs. Why do pilgrims' pants always fall down, you ask? Because they wear their buckle on their hat, silly. Told you it was a visual. All right, last one. I promise. Last one. I promise. Last one. All right, but this is audience participation. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
Figs.
Biggs who?
Biggs who?
Figs the doorbell. We have Thanksgiving guests coming. And with that, folks, that does it for Thanksgiving. Totally awesome. And not bad. Only one bad one in there, but you like that. You guys liked them all except for that one, didn't you? Come on.
The gravy one didn't fall as hard, but the rest of them were good.
That's why I said you liked them all except for one. So I'll give you that one. Even I thought the gravy one was stupid. But when I read it before it went on the air, it hit me funny. Now it just hit me in the head like, what were you thinking? Anyway, all right. So that's the way we like to end the show, with some laughter and humor. And hopefully, I'll tell you what. Here's a little challenge, folks. You can go back and replay this show as many times as you want, okay? If you tell any one of those jokes over your Thanksgiving dinner, and you message me and tell me how many of them you told, I will donate $1 for every joke you all told over Thanksgiving to your family and friends. I will send it in a donation button click to Mark and his company out there, the Tarzana Treatment. So I challenge you. I double dog dare you all to tell my jokes because you like them. And then you got to message me and I'll send $1 for every joke.
You heard it, guys. Get those jokes ready.
Tell you, see, selling ice to an Eskimo. That's what it's about. No, seriously. See, Herman even sent me a ha, ha, ha. All right, good. Anyway, Mark, thank you for coming in with us. I know we'll have you back on again, I'm sure, because you're what you do is just way too important to just bottle up for a 35-minute interview. So we'll do this again over the course of time. By the way, Mark's book, you can find it on Amazon, or like I said, just go to his website, markwinkler.com. Val, final thoughts, my friend.
You know, this season is one where I am so thankful that I have all of you. I'm thankful for anyone that is watching or listening to us, because it means that we're making a difference in the world. in the best way that we know how to do. So know that you are hugged and loved from at least Kiwanis Connects, and have a great Thanksgiving.
Right on. Mark, thank you for coming in, sir. Any final thoughts to the audience?
Well, I just want to just quickly reiterate something that you said and what Val said. Really take some time for yourself, schedule it if you have to, and then, as Val was talking about earlier, get out and connect, right? So go inward for a moment, but don't stay there. Get out and connect, especially during this holiday, because there's people that you needed, and there's people that you don't know that really need to see you. So make that happen.
Absolutely. Grace says, oh, she knows her Nashila, her last name is a Maasai name. So Maasai is the name of the tribe that Chief Joe was that I referenced in the first segment out in Africa. So there you go. All right. With that, I couldn't have really said it any better, because if I did, it would have to be in the tail of a joke, because that seems to be the only way anybody listens to me. But I promise I'm done. No more. Next week, as I said, we're gonna run. Maybe we'll rerun this show next week, because we're gonna take Friday off. But I will be on with Aaron's Hour that following week. But for tomorrow, Aaron's Hour is a Seinfeld episode where it's going to be about a whole lot of everything, but yet a whole lot of nothing. But I am going to put a major company on blast, fanatics.com. You mess with the wrong guy, and I'm going to tell my story tomorrow as part of my show, 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook. Thank you, John. We went over. Thank you for the opportunity, everybody. That does it for this week. Be kind to everybody. Why? We're all we have. This show is adjourned.